to FusionQA, Episode 1 of Selenium using Ruby. I'm your host, Farooq Yousuf. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about some of the basics of how to use Selenium with Ruby. It's assumed that you have some of the prerequisites installed. You should have Ruby installed on your system, and you should also have Selenium-Webdriver gem installed on your system. If you don't, we'll provide some more information in the show notes in the description below. So some of the things that we're going to talk about and cover in today's episode is, number one, how to use Selenium with Ruby in IRB, which is an interactive Ruby shell. We're also going to talk about how to open a browser, how to navigate to a URL, how to navigate back and forth, how to get a page title, how to refresh a browser, and how to quit a browser. So for the first thing we're going to talk about is how to actually start using Selenium and Ruby in an IRB session or interactive Ruby shell. IRB is basically an interactive computer programming environment, and what IRB allows us to do is to execute Ruby programming commands with an immediate response or immediate feedback. And this allows us to experiment in real time, which can be really useful. So firstly, what you want to do is you want to open your terminal or your command line application. I'm on a Mac, so I'm using the terminal application here. And you simply just start out by typing IRB, right? And you hit enter, and now you're in your interactive Ruby shell environment. And now, to kind of load that Selenium Ruby environment, all you have to do is type require space and in quotes Selenium-Webdriver, just like that, and hit enter, and you'll get a true if it works out. You should have the Ruby gem installed for Selenium-Webdriver beforehand, and if you don't, you'll get an error. But if you do have that gem installed, which you do need, then you'll get the true as we see here. So now we have that Selenium Ruby environment loaded in our IRB session. We can begin to execute all the different Selenium Ruby commands right here in this live IRB session. And this is really useful when you're just getting started and starting to learn, or you want to debug a test script and you don't want to run or load an entire test. So it's really, IRB is a very, very useful tool to have when you're learning or writing test scripts. Before you can do that, you have to actually download the Chromedriver, or you actually have to download whatever driver you're going to be using. If you're using Firefox, Internet Explorer, whatever browser you're using, there's a specific driver for that browser. So in our case, we are showing you how to use Chrome, so we have to download the Chromedriver. I've already done this previously, but I'll show you how to do that exactly. What you want to do to get the Chromedriver, chromedriver.chromium.org/downloads, and that will provide us with some downloads here for Chromedriver. And what you want to do is you want to download the most recent Chromedriver that they provide, and then place that driver in a directory that's local on your computer. And I usually place, so what you want to do is just download, so it really depends what Chrome version you're using as well. So find out what Chrome version you're using and then download the required Chromedriver. So for example, you would download this for Mac in this case. So you download the Chromedriver, and once you have that downloaded, then all you do is you would place that Chromedriver in user local bin, right? You want to go there, and you can open that up, and then you just place the driver in this directory, in this bin directory or folder, and then you can use the Chrome browser with Selenium and Ruby. how to open an actual browser. What we want to do is now you type driver equals Selenium : Webdriver .4 space and then Chrome. And we're going to be using Chrome in this example. You could use Firefox or Internet Explorer, but in this example we're using Chrome. And you're going to hit enter, and that basically opens up the actual browser for us. Now, the next thing we're going to show here is how to actually navigate to a specific web page or URL. All you do is you take that driver, and what we did there in that last previous command, we set the driver, the Selenium-Webdriver for Chrome, we set it to a variable called driver. So now we can just call that driver variable and execute all the other various commands using that. So we would say driver dot, and there's two different ways how you can navigate to URLs or web pages. You can use a driver.get, right? Or you can use driver.navigate. And navigate is a little bit more useful, and we'll show you why in a few more later on in the episode. So driver.navigate to, and we're just gonna provide the URL here. This is a test website that's been set up by some folks online for testing and learning with for Selenium. So all you do is hit enter, and you see here in our browser it pulls up the actual web application or website that we specified here, the internet.heroku app. You'll see right there. Now, the next thing that we will cover is how to navigate forwards and backwards on a web page. So again, you'll use that same driver command or the same driver variable and driver.navigate. Now, if you want to go back, right, we'll just do .back and hit enter, and you see it went back, right? Now, if we want to do going forward again, you would just do driver.navigate forward, just like that. Hit enter, and you go forwards. So that's how you do those two things. The next thing that we're going to cover is how do we get the web page's title, right? So this title of this web page here is the internet, right there on top. You see the internet, right? So what you'll do is driver.title, and it'll give you the actual title of the web page that you're currently on, and it says the internet, just as it is up here. The next thing that we're going to cover is how do you refresh the web page. Again, driver.navigate, and you see here this is why I opted to use navigate versus get. If you did get, you wouldn't be able to do some of these things like backwards and forwards and such. So the reason we did navigate instead of get is so we can use some of these other commands. So driver.navigate refresh will refresh the browser for us. Didn't really see much. You saw slightly actually here when the browser was loading. So if I do refresh again, notice up here it does a refresh. See, so you can see the browser refreshes a little bit too. So that's just going to refresh the page for us. And then last but not least, we'll end the episode with showing you how to quit the browser, how to end the session. It's very simple, driver.quit, and that basically kills the browser, kills the session, and you are now out of that that browser session. You're still within your IRB session, but the Selenium-Webdriver session is over. That wraps up this episode. I hope this episode was of benefit. If you have any suggestions or questions, please leave a comment below or email me at farooq@fusionqa.net. Don't forget to like and subscribe the channel. Connect with us on social media. The show notes and other details will be provided in the description. Thanks for watching.